Hi there. In this tutorial for InDesign CS5, I'm going to go over how to do some simple drawing in InDesign CS5. So we're going to recreate something that looks like this house. So once you've opened up InDesign, you're going to click on File, New, Document. This will show you the default settings. We're just going to stick with these just for basic letter size and hit OK. You'll notice right away you have lots of tools on the left-hand side and you have panels on the right-hand side. Up here you can change your workspace. I'm always using Advanced. If you click here, you probably started out in Essentials. I click on Advanced because you get to see more options such as effects, and I like to have the effects on my panels. First thing we want to do is create the back of our house. So I'm going to click and find the Rectangle tool. It's right underneath the Frame tool. I'll select the Rectangle tool, and if you look at my swatches right now, my fill, there's a stroke through it. That means that there's no fill. And for my stroke, it's black. So that means the edge of my square is black and there's no fill. I want my house to be blue, so I'm going to click here. I also can change the thickness of the stroke. So if I click on stroke, I can bump it up to 4. And I'm going to click here and drag out, and I'll make the base of my house. With the black arrow tool is handy because I can move it around, I could center it in the page. You get these handles on the side, I can make it smaller, thicker. Okay, I could even rotate it by going on an edge here. So the black arrow tool is very handy. Once I have the base, I want to make a triangle. So I'm going to go back to my rectangle tool. I'm going to right click or control click and select the Polygon tool. I'm going to double click and make sure I have 3 sides selected with a 0 star inset. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to drag out a triangle. With my black arrow tool selected, I can click and drag and center it. And InDesign is very smart. It tells me when it's centered. So it's centered there. I'm going to click away. Now I want to add some more items, but I'm going to lock everything here. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to go in my layers options. I have one layer right now. That's the back of the house. So I'm going to double click layer 1 and name this back of house. And I'm going to lock that layer. What that means is I can't affect anything on this house now. I'm going to create a new layer, and I want to add some lines to my roof. So I'm going to select the line tool. I'm going to make sure that my stroke is 4, and I don't want to fill this time. I'm going to go to swatches and make sure that there's no fill and just an edge. If you hold shift when you drag out your lines, it'll keep it straight. So I'm going to hold shift and drag out, let go. I'm going to hold shift and drag out, let go. Now I'm going to hold shift again and drag out. Click the black arrow tool to click away. So I have these 3 lines there. I'm going to make a door using my rectangle tool. I'm going to make sure that my stroke is black. I can quickly swap these two, so now my stroke is black. I'm going to draw a quick, simple door. Click away. I'm going to add a couple, actually, make that door a little bit bigger. And I'm going to add a door handle. With the ellipse tool, I'll grab, I'm going to click away. Grab the ellipse tool, make sure the fill is white. If you hold shift and drag out, you'll get a perfect circle. So I'll drag out, click away, and I have a perfect circle door. Now to make the windows, I'm going to make 4 squares. I'm going to right click here, rectangle tool. Now I also want to zoom in a bit because I'm a bit far away. It's always handy to get in a bit closer. So I'm going to grab the zoom tool, I'm going to zoom in on my work. Grab the rectangle tool, and to make again a perfect square, I'm going to hold shift and drag out. Now here's a neat little trick. I'm going to click on the black arrow tool. Say I want to make a square the exact same size. With this item selected, I'm going to hold alt shift and I get this double arrow. I'm going to click and drag out while holding alt and shift down. I'll get a perfect replica. Shift is also handy. Let's say I want to select both of these squares. If I hold shift and click, now they're both selected. I'm going to hold alt and shift and drag down. Okay. Now if I want a window on this side, I'm going to click here, drag, and select all of these with my black arrow tool. I'm going to hold Alt and Shift. Shift just makes it go straight. I'm going to drag across here. So now I have another set of windows on the other side. With my zoom tool, I can zoom out. And there's my house. So that's just a quick tutorial on some of the tools you can use. Oh, there's one more thing. I wanted to show you how to do rounded edges. So I don't like the sharp edges here, so if I click on this, remember I have to go back to my layers and unlock that layer. If I click on this edge, click on Object, Corner Options, make sure Preview selected. I'm going to choose a rounded. Hit OK. There. Basically done. The last thing I want to do is just see what this actually looks like. If you go down here, I'm in normal mode. If I right click or control click, I can choose preview. And this is what my house is actually looking like. So that's just a quick tutorial. Hopefully by looking at this tutorial you can continue on with the rest of your first task in InDesign.